What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back with another superstar from the sport of MMA. Today we get to talk to championship coach Ray Longo. He's been in the corner of a lot of champions, and on May 6th, he will be accompanying Aljamain Sterling for his third title defense as he faces Henry Cejudo in the main event there at UFC 288. What's going on, Coach Longo? How are you?
I'm feeling good, guys. How are you?
Good, thank you, sir. We appreciate the time. And hey, this is Aljo's third title defense, which would tie Weidman if he's successful. And I wanted to ask you, a lot of times when champions, I'm not trying to do a jinx or nothing like that, but
Right.
you know, when you get to 5 or 6 and a few of them lose, and like, oh, I can hardly breathe, the pressure. Do you feel it as well on behalf of them that the stakes just keep getting higher and higher for these fighters as they continue that climb of title defenses and being on top?
That's a great question. And number one, I didn't even think of Aljo and Weidman until you brought it up. So now I'll probably start panicking about it.
Sorry.
But I remember when Weidman won the title, I was getting tortured, because Serra lost his first defense, to GSP, and the people are always going to find something to torture you about or hate on you about. And that was it for me. And I was like, wow, I don't think of it. I just think each fight, one fight at a time. And I'm just happy for those guys, everybody's success. And look, I look at every fight in the UFC as a title fight, personally. That's the way it feels. That's what I love about that organization, is that every fight feels the magnitude of a title fight. So, I did think of it back then because people brought it up, but I didn't even think about this until you just said it. So, it's really just one fight at a time. Every fight is important, no matter if you're a champion or you're just starting out, to me anyway.
Do you feel like Aljo might carry a chip on his shoulder because he hasn't gotten that full respect yet? We know the controversy around winning the title. It was justified, knee. And then the first title defense was very impressive. He got past Peter Yan, but a lot of people were saying, had the fight gone further, who knows what happens? A bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in the TJ fight, we had the injury. That's not Aljo's fault either. So in a way, I think this might be the first time he really gets his proper respect. So you think that chip on his shoulder is actually probably a good thing, or do you think it weighs on him?
I think Aljo's got the mindset where he's just going to go in and fight. The more I get to know him, the more I appreciate like the way he thinks, the way he dealt with the adversity after, the illegal knee, and had to sit there for a year and just get absolutely tortured. But, guys, it's always going to be something. Aljo wins this fight. Henry had a 2-year layoff. That's what you're going to hear. He didn't fight for 2 years. What do you think? He was rusty. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like that. I think Aljo's smart enough. He's just going to fight one fight at a time, take his money, and be very, very happy and grateful for everything he has. That's the way I think. I don't even know if there is a chip on his shoulder now. He's just very, very happy to be in the position he's in, and he's gonna, just enjoy himself. I don't even think he's putting pressure on himself, to be honest with you, because there's always going to be something. You know what I mean? It's never clean.
This is true. You're right. The layoff. I can see it already.
No, that'll be the first thing. He was rusty. Look at him.
Yeah.
Older. I don't
know. Coach, do you have a good story or do you even remember the first day this guy walked in your gym? Did you size him up right away and say, okay, we can work with this? Did he struggle early on? Was he one of the top leaders right away? Do you have anything like that you can share with us?
That's another good question. He was very indecisive when he walked in the gym. I watched Aljo really grow and mature into I want to say a superb human being. I really have. Not that he wasn't when he walked in, but his decision-making process. I remember he came in, he spoke, because Iaquinta brought him in. Mm-hmm. And we spoke for a while, then he disappeared. And I go, wow, is the guy coming in? He's not coming in. And then he came back again. He brought his brother. Then I felt like they were interviewing me. I don't know what, and then he joined the team. No, it was I'd have to actually ask Al, because it was a funny story, or even Aljo would be better at remembering. But I remember him asking a lot of questions, and just he seemed indecisive. at the time. And I think he really made strides with that. Because I'll tell you another funny story. One of the first times we all went out together, we went to a diner and everybody's ordering. He's like, is it like the BLT, the hamburger? He's going back and forth, and everybody, we're all ordered already. Aljo, you got to make a decision, man. We're fucking starving. So I think that's what I was feeling when I was talking to him when I first met him. And then when he came in, and obviously what I saw, all the things he could do and how talented he was, he did look like he had, he was like a mini John Jones. So I knew there was definitely something special about him. Could we get it all, in a cohesive manner to where he, look, he came into, he was, I think he was undefeated. So he was fighting already. So, he's got a good head for the game. I don't even really want to even take any credit. He was a super talented kid when he walked in. I think, we had Iaquinta, Marab. He had a great bunch of guys to work with. And I think that's probably, he built a strong bond with those guys. And that still holds up to today. And I think that's, it's not always about, the technique or what you have. It's about the environment. And I think the environment was perfect for Aljo to get exactly where he got to.
Coach, earlier in the interview, we brought up the layoff that Henry Cejudo has. Before that, he was one of the most well-rounded fighters in the UFC. What do you think has happened in these last 2 years? Do you expect much of an evolution to his game, or do you think he'll be the same cat when he left?
I hope he was eating a lot of paella. I don't know why. I hope he enjoyed himself. But I think Henry's a student of the game. I don't think he's messing around. So I'm expecting the best Henry. A 2-year layoff is a 2-year layoff. If he did it right, it shouldn't make a difference. But I hope it does. But he's not a stupid guy. You watch him break down fights. I like listening to him talk. I think he's intelligent. And I think, maybe he might be overlooking Aljo. He sees something he thinks he's going to exploit easily. And I think that might be his mistake. But besides that, I think, like you say, Henry's smart, man. He's, a student of the game. He's an Olympic champion. He's got a great mindset. He's a fantastic competitor. A really, really tough fight.
If we go over your resume and we look at some of the guys that we speak about when we talk about the Mount Rushmore of MMA, you've actually coached against a lot of these guys. Where do you feel like Henry Cejudo ranks amongst those guys? There's GSP, there's Anderson Silva. There's quite a few of them that you've actually had to figure that puzzle out. Where do you feel this guy ranks in there?
Man, I like. I think he probably needed a couple of more fights, but he's right there. I mean, what he did with, he beaten Dillashaw at that time. What he did with Marlon Moraes, I think, was absolutely fantastic. Marlon was an absolute killer, big size difference, and he just broke Marlon down. The Demetrius Johnson fights, one, didn't go his way. I probably thought Demetrius won the second fight, but it's neither here nor there. It was still a great fight. I think Henry's up there. I think he's up there, yeah.
We all kind of have the same things that we talk about come Monday morning on the show. Usually there's something going on with judges. In your position, having to be prepared, do you give that a look? Who are the 3 judges for tonight? What do they usually look for? Even the referee, is that something that kind of sticks in the back of your mind going into a title fight?
I haven't thought about it, but I should. What you're saying is dead on. I know, because back in the day, even with boxing, there were certain refs that would let you hold longer. Certain refs that would let you fight in the clinch a little bit. So it does make a difference, but I haven't thought about it. MMA is a little different, I think. The judging, for the title fights, they'll give you a choice of, if you have any people you don't want, they will give you that choice. And even with the referees, I do think they give you a choice of the referees you want to. So yeah, it's something to think about. But I always said that was part of my complaint, even with the judging, why I think you should let the judges tell you how they saw the fight, so that we have the data that you're talking about right now. Oh, this guy likes more grappling. This guy likes more striking. This guy, whatever it is, You know, we don't have that, so we don't know what they're thinking, and that's part of the problem. You know, and same thing with the refs. The refs, at least we get to see who lets them stay against the cage longer, who doesn't, who'll stand them up quicker. So what you're saying is 100% true, and depending on what your game plan is for the fight, that could 100% make a difference. But that's why I like to, you know, with the refs, you get to see it, right? Who's doing what, and not that it's always consistent, but you do get an idea of who's going to give you more leeway in certain positions. With the judging, we don't know what the hell they taught. You never hear from them, so we don't know. But if you heard what they were thinking, then I think, you know, you'd have to, you know, make a really hard choice on who you want judging your fights based on your style.
Do you have a judge or ref you'd rather not work your title fight coming up?
Right now, no. I think no. I think they got the judges. That anybody who shouldn't be there isn't there anymore, and it is what it is. You know, I'm going the opposite way. Don't leave it to the hands of the judges. Try to win every round decisively. I think that's always your best bet. Obviously, easier said than done. It's a cliche, but you still can't argue with that.
How far do you take game planning and strategy? Aljo's got his own podcast where we can all tell he's pretty well versed in this. In fact, he's told us before he's a great assistant coach to you when he's been a corner man.
100%.
And so now, is it input from both of you? Is there a third member of the team? And Henry, you're right. He's very public with what he's done these last 3 years. Actually, he's been gone with his YouTube channel. Have you ever even taken a deep dive into when he's commented on Aljo's fights, just to almost get in his head before he knew he was going to maybe come back to the game and fight Aljo?
No, I haven't, but I have listened to him with, you know, the past recent fights. Like, I think I understand where he's coming from for sure. And I think he is very practical. Wait, what was the first part of that? Was something, without
strategy and game planning.
How much? Aljo, you know, like you said, Aljo's another guy, super analytical, great when I coach with him. So we just really talk, you know what I mean? I tell him what I think is good. He'll either take it or not take it, or, you know, maybe try to work around it, but he'll definitely try it. And if it doesn't make sense, he'll tell me I can't do that because of this. He'll tell me right out. And he's breaking down the fights really himself. So Quint is in there. I'm in there. You know, we sit and we talk. After, like last night, you know, we did. I made us probably do 8 rounds of boxing only, and we just sat there and talked about it. You know, me, Al, Marab, Dennis Bazooka. You know, and I think that was it. And we just bounce stuff off, and then, you know, maybe we'll get up and show, hey, when you're in this position, you could do this. This works good. You know, try it, and that's it. That's the way it goes.
What's fight day like for you when you wake up? Are you like a little kid on Christmas? Are you that excited, or is it just punching the clock? I'm going to work just like any other day.
No, it's more like the Christmas thing. I tell you, a good day for me is when I'm in the bathroom like 3 or 4 times before the fight. That means I'm super dialed in. When I'm not feeling it, I get worried for myself. But no, it's not like another day at the office. No, I'm telling you, every one of these fights, even the younger guys coming up, to me, I'm almost worried. I don't ever want that feeling to leave because I'm getting older. So I'm conscious of it too, because I'm not going to be there if I can't, you know, add something, right? So I'm really grateful that I feel that way. And I'm sure I'll be panicking this day because I got Frivola and Aljo on the same card. So we haven't done that in a while.
I know you got a Frivola workout coming up, so I'll wrap this up real quick. Did you watch Bellator the other day? Because I was watching Patchy Mix deliver a knee to Rafion Stotts, and I was thinking, wow, similar frames. Stotts is obviously a wrestler like Henry. I mean, so is Aljo, to be fair. They're all well-rounded guys. But I was wondering if you saw that, what you thought of it. And I'm well aware that even Aljo's been the recipient of a knee as well. We mentioned Mariah's name earlier. But, you know, like, when you are watching fights, are little bells and whistles going off, and like, and you're applying it to maybe your future fights?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I think that's a beautiful technique for Aljo. He's got that in his wheelhouse for sure. But the thing with Moraes was a little different because Aljo shot as Moraes was throwing a round kick, believe it or not. He just led with the knee. So he did hit the knee, but it wasn't a knee straight up the middle like that. Just a minor difference. But Patchy Mix, that was absolutely beautiful, the way he put that knee in there. And that, yeah, that's something that, could very well happen to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm always looking at that.
And while we have you here, the final question would just be, Chris Weidman, has talked about a potential comeback. And is this something that you're in full support of? You've always seemed like a loyal guy to me in terms of backing your fighters, but I'm not sure did he ask for your input at all, or what do you think of this? Just because the guy's accomplished so much, we all know he's great and probably a future Hall of Famer. So, it's a very serious injury that these guys have had, him, Anderson, Conor McGregor, and the long road back, it kind of tugs on our heartstrings as fans and media. Is like, do they really have to do that next fight or not? But what are your thoughts?
It's funny. I just got off the phone with Weidman. That's why I was late, because I was talking to him for about a half hour. Look, I'm going to support Chris, what he does. He's definitely fighting again. I'm going to say that's 100%. And in the gym, like he had guys he was training with. I was at a fight, Ring of Combat, that me and Lou Neglia promoted maybe a couple of months ago. And his guys were in the dressing room telling me the guy's an animal. He's just dropping people in the gym, and that leg is stronger than it ever was. And I just asked Chris, and he said he's kicking like a mule with it, which is insanity to me. So he sounds great. He's still a major problem in the room. I mean, Anthony Smith did that thing. How this guy's, lost that a couple of fights, it's beyond him, because he still does have it. He's just got to do it now when he gets in the octagon. So I don't think he wants to go out like that. So I think any discussions would be after the next fight. But he's 100% dialed in, and that's who he is, man. He doesn't want to go out with people remember him like that. So he's definitely fighting again for sure. And I support really whatever he does at this point.
I'm going to sneak in a fun one because you're a fun guy. Right under the bell. I'm sorry about this. This is overtime. Which of these two would you rather not do? Al, you want to buy a new house, and you tell Al, I'm not going to go with you. I'm going to go with another guy. Or the next time, not this fight, but the next time Aljo goes, hey, we're fighting. This is the day you go, no, I'm going to sit this one out. Which one of those two would you?
Man. I might have to go with the Aljo. I would never do that to Al Iaquinta. I could never do that. The guy's one of my favorite. They're both great. They're one of my favorite. I think the easier way would be I'm sitting it out, because that's eventually coming either way. I'm going to sit out. Al's always got my support. He's sold my mother's house, my father-in-law's house. He's the best. I could never do that to Al. I support his real estate business 1,000%. Which he's just opening up his own business. He was telling my wife yesterday. So, yeah, I'm never doing that. I'm never doing that to Iaquinta. Impossible. But Aljo, it might be a relief if I tell Aljo I'm out of the corner. He might be happy. So I'm going that route.
What's the name of Al's realty? Don't Boo Me Realty?
Oh, man. Iaquinta Realty. You got a big sign up on Montour Avenue where he grew up.
Nice. We're happy for him. We're happy for you. You guys are a great team. You guys are a great bunch of lads, man, that have really contributed to the sport. We appreciate your time as always. I know the steamroller's got to get some pad work in, so we'll let you go. Thank you, sir, again for the time.
Hey guys, always good talking. And buddy, feel better, man. You're going to kill this thing. Awesome, man. I'll see you guys.